All right. Hello, hello, hello. We're live. Yes. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Let's get things finished, getting things set up here. It's, it's one of those sort of an impromptu one I decided to do. I earlier today I decided, hey, maybe I should do it live. It's February 1st. Why not? Let's have some fun. Give me a second here. But yeah. So, well, it has been an interesting time to say the least. So hope everyone out there is doing fine. Let's get this situated where I'm supposed to. There we go. That's better. Hope everyone's doing fine. I hope everyone's having a fun time. I know I've been having a lot of fun recently. So I'm just gonna. Well, that's a little on the shot. I should move that a little way a bit. There we go. I want that in the shot. I'm actually down in my hobby dungeon slash. It's also my laundry room, everything. A little short on space, but that's okay. Right? That's what happens when you got lots of kids and all that. You got to make do with what you got. But yeah, so it has been a little bit since I did a live. I did one, God, right before the end of the year. But this year has been not what I expected at all. Um, yeah, so like I said, Saturday Night Live. Why not? It's Saturday night. Let's have some fun. And what the heck, GW? That's because I got some gripes. Um, Mostly at the fact that old stuff, as I found out recently, actually having played the game, there's a big difference between the theory of reading a codex and trying to understand rules, actually playing it. I learned that old stuff sucks, which kind of takes me off because I have lots of old stuff and I'm trying to get the new stuff done. I find the time is obviously very difficult, but so yeah, there's some stuff in there and some life stuff. Um, so the big one I talked about this in an update I did not too many days ago, earlier this week, I think. Yeah, so my employer got hacked big time, big time. It's really, really big, really bad. Um, this professional group that's going around has hit like it's actually hit cities in the U.S. It's hit the Chilean army. It's hit a whole bunch of different things. Uh, they're one of those ones that goes around saying, "Oh, we're trying to do you a favor. We found all your weaknesses. Now, pay us a bunch of money, and all the information we gathered, we'll just get rid of." Of course, it's not that at all. It's horrible stuff. It's really, really, really bad. Right? It's basically ransomware. So being IT for my employer means the last month and a bit has been absolutely insane. The first 4 days back to work, we couldn't do anything. All of us techs basically had to sit in our hands while people within, in deep in the head office were trying to figure out what to do. And now we've spent the last 4 weeks since scrambling to fix things to get people back online. It's been insane. It's been super busy. So I'm coming home exhausted and basically getting up and just diving headfirst into the hell that has been left for us for the last almost a month now. It's been insane, and we've done so much work, and there's so much work left to do. This is going to go on for the rest of the year. It's going to be pretty crazy. The cleanup. I hope no one's employer gets hacked. I really don't. It is an absolute disaster. It's horrible. Um, because you got to worry about data breaches and all that stuff. So not a lot of fun in that regard. So that has been basically my life for the past month. So wonderful Christmas, wonderful New Year. Went and did lots of cool stuff. Saw family, looking up, and then on the 5th, couldn't get any of my stuff on my phone. All of a sudden, uh, you know, email saying you have the wrong password. I'm like, that's weird. That is the right password. And then, of course, downhill from there. So that's life stuff. So on the upside, though, I've actually, if you haven't been watching, which shame on you because you should watch, I actually managed to get some games in, and it has been illuminating, super fun. Got my butt kicked both times. Did better the second time than the first. Getting used to rules in 10th edition. Obviously, I haven't played since like an actual real game. Solo games, they don't really count. I don't count them because I'm playing myself, so I'm not really getting the full experience of having an opponent. But yeah, I haven't had a full real game in many, many, many years. So it's been a wake up call. It's illuminating. I've figured out stuff dealing with the new uh what's the word I'm looking for? Dealing with how terrain works now, and I'm confusing old rules or new rules, but it's been great. My opponents have been awesome. They've been great. Uh, Faced a Tau player who used the detachment. Which one was it? The auxiliary detachment there. So Kroot and Vespid Stingwings. It worked fluidly. It just so much crossover support was great. The thing I did learn was that, like I said, old stuff sucks. And oh boy, does old stuff suck. Um, it sucks bad. Um, I was just like completely outshot. No, Space Marines could be outshot pretty easily. There's not many of them, but just the sheer amount of firepower and special rules that the new units have, as opposed to old stuff, is staggering. It's staggering. I had the Kroot Rampagers just did that rampage through my army. There was not much I could do to stop them. It's just the mortal wounds and then the high AP. Frost and Fists. Yes, hello, Mythos, my brother. How's it going? Glad to have you here, buddy. Just the amount of like mortal wounds if they charge, and then their big fists do lots of AP, high strength AP, high AP attacks, and even the blades that these Kroot on the back have lance. So everything's just lots and lots of rules. The suits have lots of firepower. And I noticed my new stuff. Hey, how's up? What's up? What's rolling, man? Oh, just trying to enjoy life now. Everything and my new stuff. If I look at things like my Infernus Marines and the newer stuff, it does relatively well. Um, the old stuff just and Games Workshop is playing there. And I think that's my major gripe now um, with what Games Workshop's doing. Um, the old stuff just sucks now. You got to go new, or you're not going to be able to play well. I mean, you can still damage things, and still, I think you probably play okay. I'm relearning again, and it's painful. Not in a bad way. Like nothing against my opponent. He played wonderfully. He was just great. But my lord, and the best example that I can come up with while going through this is dreadnoughts. So I took in one of the battles. I took a dreadnought because that's what I had painted, and I hate using unpainted models. That's just a pet peeve of mine. I can't stand it. But it's an old school dreadnought. It had the twin link glass cannons, a missile launcher on there, right? It's one shot with the last cannon. It's twin linked, so I get to reroll the wound. And the missiles, I either fire one crack missile or D6 frag missiles. And of course, I have the close combat weapon, which I think is like strength 5, but it's no AP. It's overall, it's not that great. It's got but I was looking at afterwards because it didn't. You can't do much with two shots, right? Even if you're losing a last can of crack grenade, you can do some. There's lots of damage in the end, but you still can't do much with just two shots nowadays. You need to have lots and lots of firepower. I learned that the hard way. Um, but what got me afterwards, I was looking through my codex, going, "Wow, like I have the Brutalis dreadnought that I need to get done." And it's 5 points cheaper. The dreadnought is 135. The Brutalis is 130, and it pretty much it like almost quadruples the shots. Like it's tougher. It has more wounds, which makes sense. It's massive. Yeah, the dread's going from two last shots to one twin link shot in this edition. It's made of firepower of the old dreads. Yeah, it's not. But if I look at no, it's cool. They're still cool, but rules wise, and this is again, maybe I'm late to the party over this because I haven't played games until now. But looking at the ballistas, it has two shots with its last cannon, same stats as the last one, 2 shots. My crack missiles, I get 2 shots, or I get 2d6 frag. And on top of that, I then have the twin linked storm bolters, and it's close combat. It's stomping feet is actually stronger. So I got to get the ballista stride done up because, and it's cheaper. So it's 3 times to almost 4 times the firepower coming out of this vehicle. It's tougher, it has more wounds, and it can do more. It's stronger in close combat, and I get it. From a business point of view, because I mean, I've been on the other side of the till, I've worn the red shirt, I get it. They want you to buy the new stuff. But the fact that they've so blatantly just made the old stuff crap kind of pisses me off. I've got a gripe with that. The other thing that I realized is when I went to both games, I brought my codex with me. A lot of guys are like, "Why'd you bring your codex?" And I had to think about it. Well, I always bring my codex. It's the rules. And I realized this codex, this edition's codex, right? Great codex, lots of amazing fluff, great stories in there. Um, but for the most part, when it comes down to the actual really important stuff, the rules, all that stuff, it's outdated. It's it's practically useless. Even the cards, and I bought the original set of 10th edition cards. Of course, there's been another one since. Um, um, they're pointless too because they're all outdated. Because everything's had rules revisions or rules added to it, or oath of the moment has been tweaked again, and or your intercessors now being able to basically fire double the shots, so the 4 shots if they want to, they can rapid fire, right? Just 40 shots coming in 10-man units, disgusting. So these things are absolutely useless. And I think this is definitely one of the other gripes I have is I get it. Right now, 40K, very very competitive. But I think it's actually starting to hurt. It'll hurt Games Workshop in the long run because your codex will be useless. This codex is useless now. I have the app. It's great. I bought the codex, so I can use the app with a free army because I'm not paying for Armor Plus yet. I still not worth it for me. So I can put that code in and use the codex on here, but so I can stay caught up that way. But or I'm taking a codex and I'm taking all these pieces of paper with me, and I'm walking around with a bloody library of stuff to make sure I can stay up to date. Thankfully, my contemptor are low with last cans and missiles on top, so my friends are totally cool with me putting the contemptor on an 80 millimeter base. These are counters. That's cool. Yeah, I need to get my ballistas done. It's all there. I have, just over there, I got hell blasters I gotta work on. I got so much stuff to work on. And like I said earlier, it's because of all the life stuff going on. I'm in IT and my company got hacked bad, really bad. So ever since I came back to work after my Christmas vacation there, it has been almost nonstop trying to fix what these people did. So it's been nuts. So I've had no time, which is unfortunate because I do want to paint. Yeah, the Brutalis looks cool too. Um, that's brutal as it should be. Yeah, I learned a lot from the 2 games. I learned so much. A lot of stuff's come back normally. I'm kind of getting back to the rules again. Things are coming back to me rather easily now than they did before. But yeah, just seeing it going, wow. Like I took a tactical squad one game, and its special rule of being able to split up means nothing nowadays. Just because uh, they all got blown away rather easily, right? And their bolters just aren't good enough. I don't. Ever since eighth, the bolter has not been what it used to be. It used to be feared, and even giving intercessors with their bolter rifles, heavy and assault, so they can stand back and shoot even better or move freely and shoot is great. And having the new target priority special rule where they get to basically they get to add 2 more shots, so they're rapid fire 4 or whatever. Um, yeah, no, it was great. It's a lot of fun. But it's cool, but still the bolter's not still what it used to be. Bolters used to cut through so much more, and now they just doesn't. So, and Intercessor's getting AP minus, AP one is so good. Yeah, I mean, if you look at the Infernus Marines got AP -1 on their flamethrowers, or not flamethrowers, their pyre blasters, which is great, and they put out a absolute ton of firepower. And that's the thing. This game runs on firepower now. It's the thing that I kind of knew going in, but absolutely now, no, it's all about the amount of firepower you can put out. And the old stuff just can't do it now. And I get it's done that on purpose, like I said, but ugh, it's just annoying. It's one of those things going, well, this is not cool, right? Because it is basically forcing you to take new stuff if you want to have a chance of competing with the less old new stuff, right? Obviously, they want you to buy, like for Tau, they want you to buy all the new stuff, the new Crute, the new Vespa Stingrays, but they want you to buy your tactical suits, and they are nasty. They have so much firepower, it's crazy. That's why I need to get things like my Hell Blasters done, the Ballistas I need to get done. I have Terminators that I need to get done, but I've got Stern Guard need to get done. The only unit that really did well in my last game was my Vanguard with jetpacks, simply because they've been given really good rules. So I can still go in and beat the living heck out of stuff. And they did that. They were pretty much the only good unit in my game. Everything else just kind of went, right. So the next one, I'm trying to mess around with a 1,000 point list, which includes um, my Furnace Marines. I didn't have in the last game. Includes aggressors with the Power Fists and the Flame Gauntlet, the Flame Storm Gauntlets. So that's definitely something I'm going to have in the next game. I want to get this Brutalis done, not Brutalis, Ballistus done, to add the firepower. Not Dumpy Man. Hello, how's it going? So yeah, having free digital rules for Grimdark Future, so good, and free army builder works and alternative activation. I wish GW would, but they won't. Well, that's the funny thing. Games Workshop's going to do what Games Workshop is going to do. Um, the other thing is just actually having played the games now. Again, maybe I'm late to the party. The whole having a static weapon skill, I don't like. Um, yeah, sure, I can hit everything on a 3+. Another thing can hit, but I like the fact that we had a chart back in the day, because units that weren't good at fighting felt it, and units that were good at fighting or felt it. Now it's just okay. I charge in with my um, Vanguard and I hit everything on a 3+. Doesn't matter if it's Terminators, doesn't matter if it's Crute, doesn't matter if it's Tau, doesn't matter if it's against a big hero who has weapon skill 2+ and is supposed to be a master swordsman. It doesn't matter. I'm still hitting on a 3+. What I would like to see that come back in some way. The little chart. It's really not that difficult. Um, the other thing is, I think it's time to bring back points for gear, because that throws the game off a lot. Even looking at something like my Tattoo Squad, because it's one of the better options, I can take it's 120 points, I believe. Let me look that up. I want to make sure I'm correct on that one. So yeah, so if I go there, yeah, Tactical Squad is 140 points. It's 140 points whether I take oh, you don't know, I don't want to get points back. I do, and here's why. I think not. I think having the free gear is upsetting the balance of the game. Now, you guys have probably made more games than me, but I've played a lot of games over the years, even lots and lots and lots, many games in the 26 years, many, many, many. Yes, two this year and none last year, the year before, the year before. Anyway, but the problem with it is I can take a 140-point tactical squad. That's just I'm going to go with the tactical squad because it's got lots and lots of options the other ones don't. And I can take a sergeant with a plasma pistol, a power weapon. I can take a flamethrower. I can take a missile launcher. I can take, and it's still 140 points. So I can take 140 points of a bare bone tactical squad with nothing in it, and it's the same points as me taking a fully kitted out tactical squad. Same thing if I took um, um, so boring before, all those cool weapon options and boxes, and everyone would just take the bare bones junk because it was more efficient and more bodies on the board than having any cool weapons. The system just led to cool stuff that feeling punished. True enough. That is true. There is always a trade-off. Yes, I like the fact that you can take kind of whatever you want and you're not being punished. At the same time, everyone's now taking out super kitted lists, which is cool. But it does throw things off. It's like the power level from, 8th edition, where you could have a 10-man tattoo squad fully kitted out that have a power level that it just, I don't know. Um, maybe it shouldn't return in the exact form as it was before, where everything's got points, but I think there should be some points variation on if you kit stuff out, right? So if you take a tattoo squad 140 points, but then you give it some extra stuff, maybe it's 150 points now, right? Something to show that it's definitely its output is much higher than the other one, right? Even if I take, say, it's what, 90 points for an intercessor squad. So if I take an intercessor squad at 90 points with just 5 intercessors, all armed with bolt rifles, or I take one that's got a grenade launcher and a sergeant that's got a thunder hammer and a plasma pistol, there is there's some variation there, right? I don't know. Maybe that's just me. That's just my personal opinion on it, right? Um, and I should try those digital rules for Grimdark Future. I should try that at some point. I know a lot of people have been going on about one-page rules recently, and I've seen those, and they're cool, but I don't want to learn more. My brain hurts already. Just use the cool stuff, and why will you choose that boring bare bones stuff? Well, again, that's up to the player, I think. There, um, it just makes a lot because you're just going to take the best for the same points. Yeah, again, that's just my idea. I think that in some shape, way, shape, or form, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just my opinion. I think there needs to be some way to balance it better. But again, I don't know. We'll see. Who knows? Maybe I'm completely and totally wrong, and that's okay. Um, that's okay. Yeah. No, I don't want anybody to feel punished either there, Mythos. I don't I want people to have fun. At the end of the day, that's what it's about, having fun. I remember back in the day, back in third edition, um, where you had to pay for grenades. Yeah, but it makes good stuff obsolete too if you're not just punished for taking the upgrades. No one used thunder hammers or pause pistols. That's not 100% true. A lot of people use thunder hammer. At least where I played, people use thunder hammer. Again, it depends on the edition, right? Thunder hammers were good. Plasma pistols were kind of everywhere. I have several plasma pistols in my, well, I did. My tactical squads are all now in storage. I've said enough is enough. It's time to embrace the future. But again, I didn't mean to stir up the hornet's nest on this. It's just my opinion on, and maybe there's a way to work around it. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that goes back to what I was saying with my gripe is that the new stuff sucks, or the old stuff sucks. They've made it suck. Codexes are, um, your codex when you first get it is great. My Space Marine codex is obsolete. Other than the fluff, there's literally no reason for me to take it anywhere because all the rules have changed significantly enough that there's no point in either carrying around because all my stuff is on the app, which that's another gripe. That makes me cranky. Dice, I need help directing new EC decks. You down? EC decks. Which one's that? Oh no, Hornets Nest stirred up. I have strong planes being the minority of spade. It's always champion my people. Man, champion away. Go for it. Again, I'm just saying my gripes, right? I don't. Oh, Emperor's Children. Yeah, I can help you with the new Emperor's Children decks. Absolutely. What that decks looks great. I'm glad they're finally getting something because they've, even back in the day, and I'm talking like third or fourth edition, Emperor's Children were always, um, they always seem to lack in everything. Um, oh, thank you. Your face looks great. You lovable mug, you. Gee golly gosh. Um, they've always, even back, I remember, what was it, the second version of the third ed Chaos Codex, which is probably one of the best Chaos Codexes they've ever had. Um, they just lacked. Yeah, in that one you had your whole codex, and at the end you had the books of chaos. So you could it gave you all the rules, almost extra special stuff for building a Death Guard, World Eaters, Emperor's Children, Thousand Sons. Imperial or Iron Fists. Um, Now they're escaping me. Basically, Alpha Legion, all the different stuff. So you could take different things and make it your own army. And the Emperor's Children one, lots of cool stuff, but they didn't have any models. There was there really wasn't much to do. You could take units of Noise Marines as troops. They've always seemed to be rather they're always missing something. So it's great to see them getting their own codex finally that allow them to play as a full army as opposed to sort of just additions. I saw even back in the day, you'd see a lot of I saw Death Guard armies, I saw World Eater armies, I saw Thousand Sun armies, I saw um, Night Lords armies is a popular one. Um, but yeah, Emperor's Children, they were always just like an add-on. It was like they would be a unit in the back. They're basically Devastator Marines, right? When Black Crusades were cool. Hey, the Black Crusades are still cool. Actually, I don't think they're doing Black Crusades now. They got the arc of the whatever it was, the arcs and all that stuff. And hopefully, we see the storyline progress a bit more. Although I don't think they need to rush it. Everybody wants to rush everything now. I think we should just let the fun happen. But yeah, I'd like to help you with the if you want. I like all the new units there. It looks cool, and the new headquarters and these new units, and of course having the Phoenician back, Fulgrim in his demonic form with a bunch of different heads, and that's cool because he's sort of been skulking around since the beginning of Eighth. He's sort of been hidden in the background, and they've thrown little things out here and there. I mean, he's made contact with Gulliman, basically taunting him and almost catching him in a trap, but Gulliman got last minute. And I believe in some of the Psychic Awakening books, there was hints that he was skulking around, killing things, but not making his presence really known. And now, well, now he's here, he's back, and he's not happy. He's not a happy looking chap, is he? Right. So we'll see. It's cool that these Primarchs are coming back. We'll see what happens. Obviously, we'll see his rules sooner than later. We'll get a full rundown of all that, but a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, let's get away from the negative stuff now because we talked about my gripes. The games that I had were amazingly fun. I got my butt kicked both times, but it was a lot of fun just to put the models down, roll some dice, uh, try out the new detachments, the new stratagems, just do some crazy stuff. I had Oh, just lots of fun stuff. I had in the first one, I had Titus chasing around um, his Tau commander and stripping wounds off slowly, but he couldn't hurt Titus. He just didn't have the power. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun. The second game, I had a fun loss. It was I'm not competitive in that way. I mean, I like to win games, but I'm not like I gotta win at all costs. The second one, I had that dreadnought make a charge it should have make, which was cool. It still got annihilated, but it took longer because I didn't want to get charged by the Kroot Rampagers because that would have finished the Dreadnought off right there. So it came out, it did some damage before I got annihilated, and then of course I had my Vanguard with the jetpacks who were at an extreme range and still made their charge and managed to wipe out some Vespid Stingwings and do some stuff that Marines are supposed to do. Um, but yeah, that was that second game. That was a tough army to face. The Kroot, the auxiliary detachment is nasty because the units will cover each other off, and I'm not just talking about like Overwatch. It was, if you have a unit of Kroot here next to a unit of Tau warriors, the Kroot have basically they're just really hard to fight, and everything trades off on each other, and it becomes very it just this the synchronicity is amazing. It was a hard army to fight. I made some mistakes too, some rookie mistakes that I probably won't make again. I tried deep striking my Vanguard when I probably should have left them on the board to begin with, and tried to go for a charge right off because they probably would have made it. Um, would have saved me some some casualties earlier on, but and yeah, finding out that the old stuff sucks still hurts. That was a big one. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I get it. I get why they do it, but hey. But yeah, other than that, it's been a week. It's been not fun recently. So I'm glad I got those games in. I'm gonna probably get one in sooner or later again. Because a store nearby is actually very interested. Now it's kind of right now it's kind of it's a kitschy sort of, thrift store, but not. It's sells lots of used stuff, but it's things like video games, books, movies. It sells new stuff. It sells Pokemon cards and stuff like that. But yeah, they have gotten in on the 40K stuff, the Games Workshop stuff, and they've actually moved stuff to have play areas. I've gone a couple times. Is there a lot of work to go? Absolutely, but it's great to have a place I can walk to play instead of having to drive. So you're going to build up the list of sports team. Had your army out? You've had these games to learn from. Um, yeah, That's a good one. That's an ongoing thing. The ballistis is definitely going in because it's a lot. Just a great weapons platform. Um, the tactical squads are out. They're out. So really, the only battle line I have right now in my army is my assault intercessors, and they're good, but they need to back up. Um, just I took my Devastator squad out. I've taken out pretty much anything that is old. That's one of the main. That's the big change. All the old stuff is out. I have to get some HQs painted up because right now I'm running with 2 or 3 lieutenants, depending on the build. Um, and they're not the best lieutenants, so I definitely need to get some new lieutenants. I need to paint up my headquarters, my HQs, my characters, whatever you want to call them, as I've got a bunch of them that need to get done up. I've got Gellerman, I've got Ventress, I've got the apothecary, the lieutenant with a combi weapon, the Terminator librarian, and Terminator captain from Leviathan to do, on top of all the other stuff. That was one of the big things that hurt with the last round of legending that Space Marines got. I had a whole ton of HQ characters, a whole ton of them, and now I've got like 3. So ouch. Lost all my captains because again, they're the older ones and the options aren't exactly the same as they were before. Actually, I have a captain model I got to do up too. Um, with it's one of those cool ones from one of the magazines that came out. I was got it from the UK, and got the big pose up there, power sword and plasma pistol, and I got him done up. So I have a captain or 2 when it. So that's my big thing. The big changes is I need to get HQ's done, and I need to replace some of the old stuff. I definitely think I'm going to go get intercessors simply because the amount of firepower they can put out. That's big. That is huge. Um, yeah. The whole I would greatly appreciate that. Um, I got lots of paint. I still get those hell blasters to paint up because they need to get in there. Again, it's great firepower. They're basically with the plasma incinerators. They're like pumped up versions of the bolter rifles, right? They're heavy assault, which is great because I could stand back and basically hitting on a 2 plus, or I can move, advance, and still fire some really high strength shots, and that's really good for taking out the heavier infantry and lighter vehicles. And that's what my army is definitely missing. That so that's another thing. Question: the answer is 42. That's the meaning of life. Ugh. The other stuff, I know I put this up. I actually have done a lot of painting and 3D printing. I got some. Well, Fallout's pretty cool. So I 3D printed these Fallout guys. I don't know if I mentioned these before. I may have. I can't remember. But I got a Yao Guai there on a cool little base, and I got a just a guy in power armor, the XO1 with the minigun there. I don't think I'm going to be diving into the Fallout Wasteland Warfare game. I've seen the rules. It's pretty cool, um, but I don't need another game right now. But it was cool. I got one of these big bases, some nice debris there. I got a tire and some rocks. He's standing around. He's holding onto the minigun. Of course, the Alguai here. Um, He's just standing on a rock. There's some broken debris and wood around him. He's roaring. These are actually really fun to paint up too because they're a bit different. Well, this guy was because I went for trying to get that sort of, I don't want to say disease skin, but raw, somewhat infected skin that they seem to have in the game. Of course, he's got no hair or little patches here. Um, this one was a bit more. Uh, this one was kind of basic. It's like trying to paint. It was an easy, dry brush special on this. It's just power armor, right? Now, not as obviously it's the 3D print, so it wasn't as detailed as I'd like, but it still came out really well. And yeah. Uh, would you behave something a scent was pre-painted, or you prefer it as unpainted so it would match your army? Oh, you're touching on sacred ground there. If you're asking, I prefer it unpainted because I do not. I love. Maybe it's like my OCD, ADHD, lizard brain. I love painting my own stuff. I've had people go, "Man, I can do stuff for you." I'm like, I've turned down people all the time because I love painting my own stuff. Even if it's not, it'll never get anywhere close to being ever even in the same stratosphere as like heavy metal or you know, uh, you know, what is the word I'm looking for? You know, demon, the golden demon painting level. I gotta paint my own stuff. It's something in me. I love your Fallout stuff. Well, thank you. Um, I want to take a break. I was at that point. I was painting up a few things, repairing stuff because it was just a palate cleanser too, right? You look at Space Marines for so long, you got to take a break. Um, well, thank you. I'm glad. Oh, the other thing, I also 3D printed a few more of these guys. The planes I have, right? I painted up this one here, right? I was able to actually finally get a look at a solid model, and these are like half the size, if that. Um, I'll have them and I'll play them. Maybe I gotta paint these guys up, paint off another base like this. This was a flight stand. That's the Thunderbolt fighter. These are incredibly small. The other one's like this is here. The other one's like twice as big this way. It's huge, right? Um, so I think I'll only ever play these in friendly games because there is stuff in there. I've seen your painting, your bed in heavy metal. I appreciate that, but oh my god, I am not. Um, I'll say that I've attempted and I think I succeeded at painting it the heavy metal style, but it hurt, like emotionally and physically. When I was working Games Workshop back in 2008, one of my coworkers challenged me, said, "Man, this is when Apocalypse was coming out, and we had that Masters of Chapter box. So it was four captains, and I painted one. I believe it was the 10th Company captain. They said you got to paint one of these heavy metal stuff. So we had the book in the store, right? It was like an open copy of how to paint it, and I went through the steps, every single step that they went through, and even doing the space like the ultramarine blue on their armor was like 8 steps, right? So I'm on like step 4, going, this was a massive mistake. Why did I do this? But I did it. And and then of course the metal and gold and green and red and all the other colors on this thing to make him like captain. It took forever. So I appreciate that, but I definitely, especially recently, I've been trying to paint with more expediency so I get stuff done. So it looks great on the table. I go by that 3 foot rule. If it looks good at 3 feet, you're fine. And I'm proud of my model, my painting, but yeah, I appreciate that, but I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. The heavy metal painters, those the painting guys are amazing, and they can pump out stuff fast and good. So I appreciate that. Plus, the thing I've noticed, I'm probably gonna have to go get glasses soon because seeing the tiny details is getting harder. I'm 43 now, so I think it's time to get some glasses. And yeah, feeling the old. You'll have a yes, and I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, a lot of it is also learning some nice little tricks. along the way. Dry brushing is especially good on models. Like this guy was, like I said, was a dry brush special, right? It was literally, yeah, two coats, two dry brushes with different silvers, and then I believe there was also, yeah, I also gave it a wash, and of course, picking up little details like it's hard to see, but the barrel for the ammunition is actually a golden color, a dark golden color, because I want to stand out a bit. I did red on the eyes. There's tubes on the helmet. Actually, to look this up because um, that I painted to look like almost like leather or some sort of fabric that's wrapped around the tube. But yeah, a lot of it was just really quick dry brushing and using washes effectively. It's one of those things I learned when I was in Games Workshop. I got a crash course when I started there that basically dumped it on me so they could make sure my painting was up to a certain level because you had to be to work there. If your painting sucked, they're like, well, part of it's teaching people how to paint. I had to paint 50 Moria goblins, 50 of them. They are small models. And that's where I learned, different shades where not to paint, where you should paint, um, washes, quick techniques for doing metal easily, stuff like that. So that I think part of that is 53. My God, man, you're the old man here. That's okay. I'm the old man. Um, I feel the same way. The details, yeah. So I think it's time. I'm gonna have to get glasses soon. Yeah, 50 of them. There was at one point I got up and I stood up because I've been basically down like this for I don't know how long, hours. 50. Yes, 50 Moria goblins was what. And I got up and I stood up and I got the head rush. I'm like, oh no, okay, need a moment. Um, yeah, that was for one of those games days that they had that when they still had games day. Um, I'd do 50 Murray Goblins that shipped off, and we got them back and put them on display. Later on, I had to paint up a whole ton of. There was another games day. What did we paint up for that? Oh, I painted something like I think it was 30. Um, what are they called now? Give me a sec here. I gotta look this up. It escapes me, and it bothers me that it escapes me. Do 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 do. Yes, sorry, 30 bloodletters. 30 bloodletters. That was also that was a lot of red and a lot of brass. Again, though, it was that one was easier because at that point I'd understood the techniques a bit better, so I was able to like just paint it red, give it a wash of red, highlight with the same red, highlight the letter points with a lighter red, and then the brass was just brass and then a dry brush of a gold on top. That was it. It was very quick, very easy. Horns were done quick. Um, Actually, most of them are just red because they're coming out of their head, but some of them and of course, the banner was different, and the horn, the musician was different back then. But yeah, it was pretty crazy. But yeah, 50 Murray Goblins. That was sort of my. I think it was sort of also initiation. Like if he can make it through and survive without like throwing himself off the top of the mall after 50, he's good. And I made it. Never threw myself off. I wanted to throw some of our customers off, but hey, that's a different story. Yeah, and yeah, yeah. No, I think I'm just rereading here. I think it's time for me to get glasses soon because the details are getting a bit tough. I kind of have to like bring them up slowly so my eyes have time to focus, and then right. And I may actually get one of um those visors that makes everything bigger and has lights on it. Maybe to help too. I've been looking into that, but that's gonna be a purchase for another time. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to do this too because it's been, like I said, a busy time. I thought about today, I'm like, I should do one. I don't have everything up where I want to. I'm still learning about all the stuff, although I haven't had any time. Um, oh, and then the Eldari just came out, which is gross because I think they're going to be a very powerful codex coming out. Just looking like some of the movement rules that they showed off on the community page. that's gonna be nasty. Lots of movement, lots of getting where they need to get, and just laying down death. Um, and it is comforting though to see that codex creep is still a thing. Um, because that was a big deal back and forth and fifth and all that. When you started out, your codex was obviously the top. Um, Magnifying glasses, I know exactly. No, I need those. A Codex Fusion, like, when the Space Marine Codex came out at the beginning of edition, it was the top of the pops, obviously, right? It was a huge, huge deal. It had all the cool new stuff. Oh my god, look at these new rules. Oh, it does this. Oh, they change this weapon. And by the fourth or fifth Codex, they're like, oh, Space Marines, you guys are still around? Because you guys suck now. Obviously they didn't, but you just every new codex brought something new, changed rules here, changed rules there. Yeah, so we're seeing that again. Every codex seems to bring out new stuff, and you go, "Wow, I am going to get absolutely destroyed by that." Um, that's great. So that hasn't changed much, which is good. It's comforting to know that some things will always stay the same no matter what they do. And codex creep is definitely that thing. Just like even looking at the rules for the Tau stuff, the amount of firepower that comes out of your basic mainline stuff, you're like, wow, that's gross. That's really gross. Oh, you get that many shots from one unit of a 3 unit. Okay, cool, cool. So the whole unit is 3 guys with like 80 wounds, and let's see this. Yeah, let's spin the wheel. See what changes edition. I don't know. I'm. I mean, the games are still fun. It's fun to gripe a bit. At the end of the day, when I left those playing those games, even after what I found out, I still had a riot. It was still great, and I'll go in and I'll probably get, the next 12 games, I'll probably get my butt kicked. I honestly don't care. I'm going to learn from each one and bring new stuff and refine what I've got, and eventually I'll start winning games, and it'll be fun. I'm just glad I got to play. That's the number one thing for me. I think Hells has a fun loss is still fun, right? We got Crute back though. Yes, the Crute stuff is crazy cool, and I'm glad they finally made Crute something viable. Um, because they haven't been for a long time. They're basically meat shields for the longest time. Um, Even back in fourth ed when they came out, Crute were cool. They were absolute necessity because they made the Tau very, very shooty. Even their suits weren't very good. Yeah, you could throw lots of firepower, but again, it was a different edition. It was hard to kill stuff. Now they made it really easy to kill stuff. But it's cool to see Crute having their own. Um, yeah, it's cool. But as always said, Tau really strong. At least they lack close combat, so it's balanced. They never lacked close combat. They had it. Crew were actually pretty cool. You just, again, points wise, did you want to take them or you just want to throw more firepower? And back then, it was all about your fire warriors, right? Why put money? Why put points into Crew when you put more points into a 30-inch strength five, uh, you know, um, rifle? Right? So I don't know. But the Crude are really nasty. An auxiliary detachment, if you haven't faced it, you're going to be in for a world of hurt. It is a nasty list. Now, Crute, they're still, while they change things, Crute and Vespid are still, you know, yeah, they get powerful. The Crute Rampagers, if they hit you, it's going to hurt. Take them out first, and they're 9 broadsides. Exactly, right? That's what I faced on them. I went up against no, I went against 2 broadsides and 2 of the what is it, fire knife strike teams, right? And then a couple rampager units and a couple of Vespid units, um, and Shadow Sun and Ethereal. It was pretty rough. There's a lot of firepower coming out, and you can't hit them as early as you'd like to. So it was a well put together army. I'm not gonna lie, and my army is not well put together yet. That goes back to Mythos' question. Lots of changes. I got to start getting used to my new units and seeing how they work together and feeling around for which detachment works best. The Goliath detachment is great. I like the was it the Fire Strike detachment simply because. Or did I have that in here? Maybe a second here. I want to make sure I get this right. It's a Firestorm Assault Force. Just because of the fact that every weapon you get has assault, which is great for lots of different units. Um, but you also get +1 to your strength when you're within 12 inches with your weapons, which is great. And of course, a lot of the stratagems are awesome because they're great for if you're in transports. You get to reroll, you get to fire more. It's just really nice. Of course, there's armor of contempt, but that's one of my favorites so far, simply because you get the closer you get, the more it hurts, which is kind of what you want to happen. Um, yeah, they're all pretty. Again, I think I'm hoping that when we get a new codex, they may change some of those up because they feel kind of they're definitely falling behind. You see a lot of the new detachments have multiple things in that just this basic detachment rule before you get to enhancements and stratagems. There's multiple things now in all these detachments. And Marine ones are like, you get a bit stronger when you get closer. Yeah, Fire Strike is cool. I think that's my second favorite. Which is your first favorite though? The Glass is cool because you get to movement is very, very important in the game. I found that out too. Um, I also tried the Iron Storm Spearhead because I took tanks and a dreadnought and or two dreadnoughts, a tank, and that was pretty good, right? You get to reroll one hit roll, one wound roll, or one damage roll, and that actually comes in handy. That when you fire that last can off, you miss. Oh, I get to reroll that hit. Okay, good, right? And then you obviously can't reroll the wound, but it did come in handy. I was able to actually hit and wound and damage stuff a bit better. Vanguard is my first favorite. That seems to be a popular one. I'm was eyeing that one as well. Um, yeah, cause yeah, subtract one from the hit roll and targets benefit cover against attacks. That is good. That one that one I've seen people use a lot of, even with things that normally wouldn't be Vanguard. But yeah, that one I've been thinking about as well. I haven't had a chance to test that one yet because I only had the 2 games. I was thinking of maybe doing that because it'd be great for my Marines not to get shot at long range. Having the benefit of cover when you're out in the open is great, and not being able to be shot so much is fantastic. Um, it seems kind of ooh, that's precision. That's great. Calculated feint, and I do have my Reavers for Phobos squad. I um, should probably get more of those. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Surgical strike, deadly prize. Oh, lots of cool stuff there. Eldari Codex should arrive this week. Hopefully, yeah. Um, I don't know. Things are a bit weird up here in Canada right now with all the weird tariff crap going on. So having to yeah, exactly. Again, the other thing he had in his army was sorry, I missed that when I said was army was one of his what is it? Shit. My God, I can't even remember right now. It's too late. Where is it? Come on, where is it? Pathfinder team. That's it. He had a Pathfinder team, and the fact that they can guide multiple units is disgusting. So they're like, oh yeah, you're hitting it plus this, and I didn't move, so I get to plus this, and I get all these extra shots. Like, God damn it! And then they get to fire their weapons anyway. So it's like it was nice, pre-ordered, good. Yeah, I think it'll be cool. I'm hoping that this book, because they haven't really talked about it, will help with the Yanari stuff because that was at least story wise, it was this great addition. Hey, look, here's a bunch of Eldari that are following a brand new god. Well, it's always been there, but the god of the Eldari dead. It's great. Oh, look, they help bring back Guilliman. Massive, massive implications, and then nothing. Right? Even when they did, I mean, they kind of amped it up a bit, but they also made it when they did the Psychic Awakening, like, oh, hey, here's the Phoenix book. Here they are again. You can have all this and this and this. You can take your favorite units from Drakari, Eldari, the Harlequins, and they gotta be. Um, I think the dumbest thing they did with that though, is they basically we're on the same page. Nice. They basically said they have to get these crone swords together, and that doing so will that'll be like one of the final steps in finally defeating Slanesh, however you want to say it. And they're like, oh, but we took one and we put it in the garden of Slanesh, like it's in the realm of that god. So it's basically it will never be gotten. And it's one of those like I always joked at that because I remember working when I worked for Games Workshop. They're like, never ask closed-ended questions, right? Like, can I help you? No, boom, you're shut down. That was like going, can the Eldari ever? Well, is there any hope of them ever getting these weapons? No, because they took one and they took it to a place that literally nobody of nobody will be able to go to get it, especially for the Eldari. There's literally no way. They've done that in the fluff for like a Gray Knight, one of the most incorruptibles, went through the realm of Slanesh and got to the end, and even he broke and fell because he just the power of Slanesh's sexiness took him over. So they basically taken this very important plot point and gone, it will never be resolved. Which I get because you don't want to be like, hey, look, the Eldari got all the Crone swords and he's gone now. Which I get because you don't wanna have this whole one of these chaos gods just going, "Poof, gone. Hey, we got defeated, yay." But it was not the way they've treated these guys, giving them such an um, important opening with, during, the Gathering Storm stuff, bringing back the first of the loyal Primarchs, one of the like Gilliman, one of the more important ones. I'm not talking rules-wise, but story-wise, the Avenging Sun, and helping get all this stuff getting back to Terra. The stuff they did with the Thousand Suns, where the Yvrain there basically turned a bunch of Thousand Suns back into actual living, breathing Marines in front of Airmen. And I'm going, what? And then like just nothing, right? It's just poof. And when they did the what is it, Psychic Awakening, it was very much just that same story all over again. They didn't really add anything new other than that, Yanari, all those people are being hunted. Slanesh is sending people out. That Vect is basically started a civil war within his own realm to make sure these people are destroyed. So yeah, they're hunted, but they need more. They need a lot more in order to get this to where it needs to go, right? So hopefully they get a bit of an update. Um, I get why they don't. I mean, hell, if Games Workshop wants to, there I can talk. They should maybe make their own special codex. Just give them a codex. They did it back in the day. They had a Harlequin codex, so maybe they should make one that has listings of everything in it. Just easier to do. That way, I'm not because right now you can't unless you have the special character, which kind of limits you. Because what if you don't want to have the special character? I mean, you should. It's a very cool character, but it just messes with things, right? Let's see here. I think I wonder if it's been blanked out on me now. We'll see in a minute, won't we? Let's see, diary. Yeah, so index, dash sheets. Oh no, they're still there until it comes out. So yeah, if I want the let's see here. Where are you? If I want where are you? If I take your brain, right? Let's see, abilities, yeah, Herald of Need, which is pretty good. Just let's see, detachments. So I don't even know if there's stuff in here. Armored war host and battle host. Yeah, Yunari. Yeah, if your faction is Eldari and your warlord is Yvrain, you can include Drakari in your units, your army, even though you do not have the Eldari faction keyword. The combined points of each unit can be included of such units can be included in your army depending on battle size. Um, Yeah. No Dracari model, including your army, can be given enhancements. You cannot include any of the following keywords in your army with these rules: Phoenix Lords, Avatar Arcane, Solitaire, Homunculus Coven. So, yeah, it's pretty. I want the new Beckwin book. Beckwin. Oh, yes. I haven't read a book in a while, too. I should probably do that, too. Last one I read was The Infinite and Divine, which was an amazing book. I actually have it right here. This one's a cool Necron book. Obviously, Trans in the Infinite, and let's see here. Was it Orkan? What's his name? Or Orkan the Diviner. It's amazing because it's like a whole cause and effect. These two petty, almost gods, because they're so powerful, right? Fighting over, uh, trying to fight their way to gaining some sort of specialized power that they can try and use against the other one on this poor planet, and decisions and actions they take, they don't see the repercussions of for thousands of years because they're dancing through time, and it's hilarious. Just it becomes an absolute. It's just great. It's hilarious. It's funny. Shows you just how they're. But also, I liked it because it gave these characters some meat, some weight to them, um, which is really cool because Necrons need that. Though they needed it badly, they still do. Their characters need to be fleshed out a lot more. But yeah, I haven't even looked. I know there's a whole ton of new books, so I'll hit the website here. I know I saw something recently for lots of books. Oh yes, the Git mobs are out. There's one I saw there that I wanted, but I cannot remember where I saw it. Where are you? Oh, books, oh, books. I know I saw some about books here a little while ago. No, I can't remember where it was. No, I can't find it. Of course I can't find it. When I want it, I can't find it. But I'll find it eventually. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of new books coming out, which should be fun. Eldari. I'm interested to see what they do to make this the year of chaos because 2025. Um, I want new Beckham books. I want the new False Prince book. Hey guys, hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome. It's all cool. Don't worry about being late. I'm always late. No, I'm yeah. There's definitely some new books I want to read. Some cool stuff in there when I have the time. Hopefully, I can figure out all the crazy mess at work, and we'll be able to slow down because every day is like 110% go 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 go. 'Cause they have very strict time limits to get things fixed and all that. So, but yeah, that's life. No, you missed all my griping. That's I was griping about GW making old stuff suck and making codexes outdated really quickly with all the rules changes, which is a bit annoying. But yes, that's sort of my thing. Yeah, adulting sucks. Yes, it does. Adulting does suck big time. It's not fun. It makes me very upset. I don't want to do it anymore. You can't make me. But yeah. So I don't know. I think I may take your no, I guess kind of a suggestion there, Mito. So maybe make my army try out the where is it? The Vanguard. Because I've never really given that one a go ahead. I'm assuming that one has helped you keep your guys alive a lot longer than not. The stratagem should be good. Shadow Masters, yes. List of attacking models and 12 inch spark one for the hero. That is cool. Being not. Haha. Get your minis and see you in the blank board. There you go. Greg said lies, lies. Games Workshop doesn't do that. No, they've never done that. I think we're going to see. There's trends happening now in the hobbying world. I think we're going to see. Uh, I mean, I know Wizard of the Coast is doing it heavily now with Dungeons and Dragons, but that's a whole other mess that I will never touch. But I have a feeling in the next few editions, I think we'll see the end of codexes as they are now, and I think they'll be pushing the app more and more and more and more because when I these last two games I played, I didn't open the codex once. There's no point. Everything's changed so much. Even the basic units have changed enough that the codex is meaningless. Um, Even Oath of the Moment, again, they've messed around with that again, and they've messed around with how enhance some of the enhancements, the detachments, the stratagems, basic unit points cost, although that's not in the book, but it's just basic abilities have all changed to the point where it's useless. Blanket fort, yes, let's go for blanket fort. No girls allowed. Oh wait, no, some girls allowed, but and there's a secret word, and the secret word is pistachio. That's how you get in. That's the password, pistachio or Albuquerque. Albuquerque's a good one, or Walla Walla, Washington. We have a blanket fort still up right now. Nice. Yes, my kids have my twin boys have a bunk bed, so they make a fort out of it. They put blankets, tuck the blankets in the top one, have a little fort. Oh, nice, granddaughter. Oh, that's fun. That's good. I'm glad you guys had fun there. That's awesome. That's the best type of fun with the having the kids over and embracing their craziness. Sorry, I don't know if you can see it, but right here, it's hard to see, but I have a little bit of a bruise and a black eye there. It's been bothering me. I made the silly um, choice to wear shoes, just normal running shoes I'd wear instead of my winter boots. My sons were at Beavers playing on a big hill, um, and doing that, I slipped and I couldn't brace myself, and my face became intimate right here with a nice chunk of ice-covered snow. Sort of massive crack. I thought I'd broken something. I didn't, but I have a bunch of cuts and I have a bruise there. It's funny. I'm not allowed in there. It's for her and her grandpa. Aw, yeah. Razzie used to love doing that with their bunk beds. Yeah, that's great. I did that when I had a bunk bed. Now I didn't share with anybody, but I'd have sleepovers and all that, and that's what I do. Even when I was, I wasn't having sleepovers. I would put that in there at nighttime just to have my. I remember when I was really young, I had the bottom of the bunk bed above me. Of course, I had the glow in the. You probably remember this. I had the glow in the dark stars. So I had a whole little starscape above me, and I'd pull this down over on all sides. So I had like one of those nice little Victorian style beds with the bed curtains everywhere, so no one could bother me. It was great. Ouch! Yes, it hurt. I bled. I was not happy. My poor boy's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, Daddy. I'm sorry." I'm like, you have nothing to be sorry about. Dad was an idiot. He stepped on snow with shoes that were not grippy enough, and he slipped and cracked his face. I'm okay now, though. It just my wife's like, "Oh, people are thinking I beat you." I'm like, no, no, they're not. Sorry, no, no. I fell and I was stupid. This is that's oh no, the ramifications of my own actions. No. So yeah, it hurt, but I was okay. Yeah. So from on here out, I'm going to try and get some more games in. I'm going to try and refine how I play my armies. I'll have to study each unit and see how best they work. Obviously, things like Infernus Marines and um, the aggressors, I want them up close where their weapons can hit and put out a ton of hits. Right, like D6 hit per guy in Infernus squad is a lot of hits, and they did in the last big update there. They did make them AP -1 finally, which was good. They needed that. Because their pyroblasters are they're stronger versions of flamethrowers, so they should be able to penetrate a bit more and obviously be stronger. So that was good. Um, and the Reavers got better. They're actually their abilities now are more in line what they should be doing. Um, I know they refined them so they actually cause. Um, where is it now? Are they in my list? I can't remember if I kept them. Yeah. So so now they have the fearsome assault. So everybody has to take a battle shock test um, for every unit engaged at range at -1, and the terror troops, um, which is awesome. They subtract one from objective control automatically within 3 inches. So you get them close to a opponent's um, back end objectives, and every unit around there is all of a sudden -1. So you have a couple units, or you have them as supporting unit, and unit that's going in for the objective. It makes things easier to take, which is nice. Um, they also, um, so it's a bit better of a unit that way. So I got to learn how all my units work better. Get rid of the old ones, put the new ones in. That ballistic dread is a must-have with the firepower it puts out. But hopefully, I'll have more games. I'll get better. I'm still gonna enjoy the hell of them whether I win or lose, but it'll be nice to actually win. I think my person I'm playing with said next time he's gonna bring Tyranid, so that'll be another experience. And I mean, things like Infernus Marines, aggressors will be great against that. Ballistas will be great taking out the big things. Yeah, I gotta get a few more characters done, get some other stuff going to help me synergize my armies a bit better, my units a bit better. Right now, it's kind of limited because I only have so many lieutenants, and as great as Titus is in terms of actually boosting a unit, he doesn't do a lot. He gives them oh, what is it? Sustained hits one, which is good. But yeah, the bugs want to eat your blueberries, probably. I was actually tempted to break out Cassius and Tyrannic War Veterans because, but that's Legends and that's a whole other, um, and they're good. But I'm hoping that maybe in the next edition we'll see Tyrannic War Veterans return. I always found it funny they could have had a really cool thing going when they started 10th edition. Having a new Tyrannic War. Why not make Tyrannic War Veterans? We kind of got one with the lieutenant with combi weapon because he's got the Tyranid armor on there, and he was anti-Tyranid at the very beginning. Obviously, they made him the much better anti-infantry on all his stuff, which is great. Much better because now it hurts a lot more stuff. But it was cool to see him. But let's go hoping maybe a unit of them, right? Of these, that could be the new version of Tyrannic War Veterans. These skilled Tyranid killers, right? But I don't know. I don't think I will. I think I'll leave them sort of in the past where they belong and learn the new stuff so I become better with that. That's the idea anyways. Well, hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out. But till then I'll just slowly keep painting away at stuff. It's kind of my ADHD kind of like I don't know what to paint first. I think it's definitely going to be Ballista Dread and then the Hellfire Squad. Yeah, Games Workshop failed. I mean, I get why they didn't because it's a very specific unit, and there's lots of alternate players out there who would probably love to get their hands on it. But I think it's easier, obviously, when you're bringing out a new starter set or even a new introductory box like Leviathan. You want more generic units that everybody can have fun with, right? They could have easily made um, the new Sterngard Tyrannic War Veterans, put a bunch of Ultramarine stuff on them, but then a lot of people are like, well, I don't want that. I don't play Ultramarines. I play Blood Angels. I play this, right? But yeah, it definitely was a failed opportunity. I'd love to see them add some in because they're still out there. I mean, Cassius, he's been made to legends, and so Tyrannic War Veterans, but they're still out there. Um, they haven't been erased, right? They're just not in the codex anymore. There was stuff in going into uh, the last edition that's still talking about Tyrannic War Veterans. All right, they in Leviathan, Captain Hageman there goes to talk to Cassius about how best to fight the Tyranid. So he's getting advice from him. So he's still there. The Tyranid War Veterans are still out there. They just don't have any rules or models. And with all the stuff that they put out for other armies, they are very specific army centric units out there that people will pick up. You look at Blood Angels; they've got a whole bunch of cool stuff. Um, Space Wolves, Dark Angels. There's armies with lots of cool stuff out there. You couldn't make a unit Tyrannic War Veterans. It's like one of the few Ultramarine. It is, other than characters, it is the only Ultramarine specific unit out there, right? Yeah, it's cool. They've got uh, they've got Gulliman, they've got Tigurius, Ventress, Calgar. So they do have a lot of cool characters. But it'd be cool to see a unit and say, yeah, this is specifically an Ultramarine unit. That'd be nice, again, to see. That's not the first time they've gone away. They were big in 4th, people loved them in 4th, they disappeared for 5th, and then 6th, they came back as, like, a data slate where you could actually build a, specific Tyrannic War Veteran army. Non-Codex Ultramarines, what? Yeah, exactly, exactly. No, they're cool. I just like to see it. Go ahead. I mean, I think it'd be, again, I think it's one of the best ways to do it because they learned a massive lesson about putting out units without models way back in the day. That's about a decade ago now. They had a whole bunch of legal stuff, and they lost out on some stuff because they didn't take this opportunity. So I think they're shying away from making a unit without actually having models. But yeah, it's cool either way. Maybe one day they'll come back. I mean, I'd like to see new stuff. I'd like to see models. Um, at the same time, they were very static models. There were only so many poses, and now with the way Games Workshop is making the models, very dynamic but very hard to. Um, they're kind of hard to mess around with and to change because they're all monopose again. There was something cool about being able to build your own units. I like the old way tactical squads were. You could kind of pose them a bit. Now everything's sort of monopose, which is made for some absolutely stunning miniatures. The details are great. The poses are great. Titus, for instance, I love the Titus model. The fact that he's leaping off a tactical rock, chain sword in the air, about to just lay the smacketh down on somebody. It's great. Um, but it doesn't leave a lot of room for kit bashing, right? It doesn't. Right? I mean, and even his rules don't mean much. Yeah. He does look awesome. I want to kit bash Reaver. Yeah, exactly. Reavers would be great for training war veterans, right? They're sneaky, which is what you need against Tyranids. They have the options for, they're for either more range combat or close combat. They'd be great. These guys running around in stripped down power armor. Cover it with Tyranid bits and have some sort of cool special rule for fighting Tyranids or get to reroll hits or it. I will kit bash anything. That's great. That's cool. I have a huge bit box I should probably send you. Then you can kit bash to your heart's content. But I gotta find my glue first. I bought glue and it disappeared. I have no idea where it is. Yeah. And I should probably stop playing video games so much. I've been heavy. I got a PlayStation 5 for Christmas, and I got Final Fantasy 16. So I played the hell out of that. Completed that. I haven't done I haven't picked up the DLCs, but I played the hell of the game, and that was such a fun game. So amazing. I don't know why people didn't like it. I saw somewhere someone said the story was convoluted and confusing. That story is pretty straightforward for a Final Fantasy game. There's been some Final Fantasy games with just weird stories and convoluted, but this one was pretty straightforward. It was great. It was emotional, cared about the characters. The gameplay was fun. Going on the hunts was fun. It was good. It was a good game. I might get the DLCs, but I've also been rocking Dark Tide for a bit because that's fun. And who doesn't like smashing things in the head with a shovel or a combat knife or a chainsword? I'm still doing the main sort of early storyline stuff. I think I'm at like trust level 15 now. So I've got myself, I'm hearing more about the trader and I've got myself a bolter now. I was, when you break, so we burn out 30 plus years. Exactly. Yeah. Um, yeah, I'm playing a lot of Dark Tide. That was fun. So I got myself a bolter. I was rocking the bolt pistol, which is a great little weapon. It's because it acts like a bolt pistol should. You can hit multiple guys at the same time. I had a tactical axe. Now I've gone to chainsword, so I'm hoping to uh, boost my abilities with a chainsword and start really laying the smack down on people. I took the veteran, so it seemed I didn't want to play a psyker. Um, the preacher guy is just not my style. The Ogren's cool, but they're just so big. Um, So I'm not a huge fan of the way Ogryn's talking that there. But yeah, I took the veteran, Cadian veteran, because Cadia stands. I had to. I'm an old school guy like that. But yeah, so hopefully I'm going to keep playing on that, trying to have some more fun, trying to get to the higher level stuff and all the cool weapons. I want to get the plasma. Yeah, inspiration is awesome. Again, I said I might grave of the codex, but really the redeeming part of all the codexes, even old ones, is the storylines. Yeah, I've had inspiration come from all sorts of places, from books, stuff outside of the hobby. Um, the timelines they have, those little. I wish they bring them back, but they had like the timeline for each army, right? Starting from like the Horus Heresy up until that present time. I love the ones where it's just like a name, right? This happened, or this battle here happened, and they give you just a little bit of a story, but it's like, oh man, that would be cool to play it with my friends. Oh, this one just has a name, so anything could have happened, and it just sounds cool. Um, I mean, I have it's just I'm pointing to my stuff up here. I got a whole bunch of stuff back here. I have that floating rock thing with a sword in it, and that was inspired by I did that for a competition build for Instagram, but I was inspired by the Sword and the Stone, and at the same time, the storyline from the Phoenix book, from the what was it from ninth edition there, with the sword, the crone sword being held by demons. So I built this floating chunk of rock with some destroyed Eldari looking structures on it, and there's a rock in the middle of the sword in it. Right, sword in the stone, Arthurian legend. So these stuff can come from everywhere. So it's great. I like reading old white dwarfs because, well, yes, obviously the design, a lot of stuff has changed. Rules definitely changed. Um, you can't play those old games unless you're playing with people who want to play those old games. But there's still lots of inspiration you can take from the battle reports, the stories, the backgrounds that come in them. So yeah, inspiration is great. I love diving into to be inspired by stuff like that. That's one of the reasons why I still like reading the books. Um, right. Like this one here, I got this picked this up at one point. It's sort of a start here book, right? Like if you're brand new to 40K, at the end behind each story, it's like your next read, right? That one was for the Dark Angels, I think, right? So it's the War of Secrets, right? Your next read, or it's when Knights of Caliban is your next read, and right. But it was cool. Again, it's great because you get in these inspired stories, so you can paint up a character or add a unit that you thought, well, that looks cool. You inspired my only blue. Well, I'm glad I was able to inspire you. Um, that's kind of one of the reasons I do this stuff. I know I've inspired people, I've been told, and that's probably when I hear that, it's probably the happiest I get when I'm doing this, other than playing games, obviously. But because that's what I want. I want to inspire people. It's why I got it's funny, it's one of the reasons why I got my job at Games Workshop because they're like, man, like you're impressed. They were impressed by me going, I just want to share this with people. I want people to have as much fun as I've had. And it gets difficult over the years, right? It has been difficult to maintain that level of, want to inspire people. But I've had people, um, some have left the game, some have moved to other things, but there was a point where I've had it multiple times, people going, hey, you inspired me to do this. That is awesome. That's all I want. That's what I want this channel to do. And hopefully it is doing that for most people. I don't know. Kind of feel like toot my own horn there, which I don't like to do. Don't and that's not like a false humility thing. I don't like to toot my own horn. I just like to have fun and do stuff. And if other people have fun, great. That's kind of what I want. But yeah, inspiration can come from everywhere. I've found inspiration on from reading history books, watching history shows. At one point, when I was working at the GW the first time, we would do like mega battles, and I actually built up some terrain to make it look like Mash, right? So I built up, um, um, my God, Mythos, Jesus, man. I think most of us wish we could tour around, but damn it, I'm just not skinny enough to reach. Dude, that's you know what? I worry about you sometimes, my friend. But, I built up some terrain and a cardboard that looked something like MASH, like the show, and it was sort of defend the apothecaries, right? So we painted up some apothecary miniatures or some medics, and you had to defend them, and the enemies would come in waves, or if your unit was destroyed, you just put it back on, you kept fighting, and that was one of the mega battles, right? It was a lot of fun. So inspiration can come from anywhere, right? And, that's not what I meant by tooting my own horn, and you knew it. And, I expect better from you, Mythos. I really do. That's low, man. Not as low as you wanna go, but it's low. Nice. But yeah, I mean, that's sort of I'll be doing next little while. I wanna get, one of the other things I gotta do, I'm painting this I painted this up a while ago. I'm gonna put it back on a base and maybe get another look over. It's for one of my someone I know that is, if you know who that is, you're old like me. If you know who that is, right? I'm painting this up for somebody who wanted a model for a character. Yeah, everybody, someone whoever comes up with that first gets the coveted no prize, right? I don't know if it's not mythos. Yeah, but yeah, that if you know who that is, you're old like me and you remember watching this cartoon. That's the hint I'll give you. I want to put that on a base with a rock of some sort, so he's elevated, and it's going to be for a friend of mine who does Dungeons and Dragons. But his cool thing is he's actually not doing the latest stuff. He's going back and playing like second edition or advanced second edition. He's been collecting Dungeons and Dragons since day one, pretty much. So he's even got the old rules. So he plays games with the old rules too, like the original rules. Um, so yeah, that if you don't know, I'll give you another minute or two. If you know who this is, get a close up. If he seems familiar, let me know, and I'll tell you who it is. And who gets it first gets coveted no prize, which means you get nothing, but you still get the the uplifting, confidence building knowledge that you knew what this guy is. Good old mythos. You got to make it dirty, man. You and your tentacles. Jesus, so disappointing. So disappointing. Yes, that's right. How He's the dungeon master. Yeah. So I 3D printed that. So I'm gonna get him on a big base or a bigger base, anyways, and probably put a rock on it because everybody's gotta have a tactical rock, right? But a bigger one, he's gonna go on top of that, and that'll be my gift for him. Just a way of saying thank you because he's one of the guys let me 3D print. So, um, right. So I'm gonna get a good piece of slate or something and put it on the base and put him on top of that once it's all painted up, right? So he just looks a little bit more because he's a small model. He's incredibly small. Like yeah, he's small. So he needs some height and some grandioseness there, right? But yeah. Oh, Mythos, leave it to you to bring the humor just down, just into the gutter, right in there, right? Just right in the gutter, eh? But yeah, so did I miss anything? No. Yeah, so that's definitely another project, right? I always like the Bavarian unicorn. Yeah. I found it. Well, I tried to find it elsewhere, but I had to I showed my kids the cartoon on YouTube. I was able to find some, and they like that too. And I was always found it funny that they arrive in this new world, and the first thing they meet is Tiamat. It's like the biggest monster at that point ever, like the one that no one ever wanted to fight, or you wanted to fight more than anything else. And they're like, "Oh yeah, here you go, kids, go fight the most horrible monster ever, because I'm the dungeon master, and I need you to save my world, but go fight the big monster first." That makes sense. I don't know. So I remember showing them that. Oh, that brings me to a rather sad point. I showed them that. I was showing them some He-Man and She-Ra and old Ninja. You want to show off the old cartoons and all that, and Power Rangers and all that stuff. Um, the man who did the voice of He-Man and Prince Adam passed away, which is sad because that was I loved He-Man. He-Man was a great cartoon. So that's sad. That was kind of just happened the other day. I think I'm like, oh man, no, we need more shows like He-Man. Good shows. Silverhawks, yes. Silverhawks is a good one. There was a whole bunch of them. Ghostbusters, both Ghostbusters. There were 2 Ghostbuster shows at once. There was the real Ghostbusters, obviously based off the, uh, the franchise of Ghostbusters, right, the movie, and there was another Ghostbusters that was made by the same company that made He-Man. It was a bit more goofy, right? Thundercats, yes, Thundercats is a big one. Ninja Turtles, Transformers, can't forget Transformers, GI Joe. Um, what was some other ones? And of course, I think the one that introduced most of us to anime, Astro Boy, right? And then of course Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, bunch of the other stuff. Those weird animes that you should never watch as a kid. You did and went, oh my god, I didn't. What's going on? That shouldn't happen in a cartoon, right? Thunder the Barbarian, yeah. Oh, of course, there's the other ones like Flintstones and all that cool stuff. Scooby Doo. My kids love Scooby Doo. We've watched pretty much every single Scooby Doo cartoon or movie there is, except for Velma, because I will never let my kids watch that atrocity of a horrible show. That was I couldn't even stomach that show. I think I watched like 5 minutes. When this is absolute crap. Why would you want to ruin people's enjoyment of this stuff? Of course, my kids love the new Sonic stuff as well, so I had to show them all the old Sonic cartoons and the Super Mario cartoons, the Super Mario Brothers Super Show with Captain Lou Albano as Mario. There, that was a show, right? Oh yeah, Robotech, Star Blazers. Yes, I remember those. Robotech was good. I'm trying to think of Mask. Mask was a good one. That was another cool one. Robotech was a cool one. What was other good stuff? So many cool shows. I can't remember them all now, but there's so many cool ones. City of Gold, GoBots. GoBots. The GoBots is funny because GoBots came out before Transformers, but Transformers was so much more popular. Again, I think GoBots was done by the same company that did He-Man and that Ghostbusters show and Sheer. It was a bit more on the cartoony side, where Transformers was, well, still a cartoon, obviously, went for a bit more of the detailed, serious way of it. GoBots was just kind of like a bit more on the goofier side, but it came out first. It beat Transformers, so yeah, they did. Mask was another one. Yeah, Mask's a good one. What was the other ones? There's so many cool cartoons back in the day, and now they just make bad remakes of those old cartoons that nobody wants to watch. I don't know. I don't know. I and or they just continue on like Dragon Ball has gone on way too long. I've actually had to make a series where they could depower everybody because they made everybody at god level. Oh yeah, this here's Goku. He can totally blow up everything now. Oh, we have to come up with an even bigger monster because we keep increasing the power level every single episode. Now they have that Daima where they're like, oh, this is set after Dragon Ball Z, before Dragon Ball GT, and so they're not super duper powerful yet. Come on, guys, you don't have to overdo it all the time. Was it? Oh, Captain N. If you guys remember Captain N, all right, so that was one of those. It was a Nintendo-based show. You guys hopefully you remember Captain N. It's a kid who got sucked into the Nintendo world, and he's and the show is broken up into two parts. Um, because you had the Captain M part where this guy, and of course he had the light blaster as his weapon, and he had the control pad on his belt, so you pause stuff or you could do all the special moves, and he teamed up with when anime needs a robot, exactly. He teamed up with Samus from Metroid, Simon Belmont from Castlevania, Kid Icarus, and Mega Man. And Mega Man sounded like again, it was back in when Mega Man first came out, but um, or Rockman, if you want to use the actual name. But it was, and then the other half of it was the Legend of Zelda cartoon with the most annoyingly voiced Link character of all time. Right? Mega H. What's that? Mega H. Was that? I'm not sure what that is. You've confused me, which is not hard for my brain. No worky. Yeah, Captain N was cool. Um, Back when Nintendo was cool. Nowadays, you can't get that stuff made because everybody'd be upset about it, or they'd hate it. It is getting late here, though, so I think I am going to wrap this up now because I would like to go to bed at some point. It's late here. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. Devil May Cry is coming to Netflix. So you dropped that at the end. Devil May Cry is coming out. That's cool, right? Thank you guys. Thank for everybody for showing up. It means a lot to me. Thanks for that. Listening to me gripe and reminisce and plan for the future. Hopefully, I can. I'll be able to get some more games in soon, and I'm gonna try doing more of these live things, right? But thank you very much, guys. Much love to you all. Have a great rest of your weekend, and I will talk to you later. Bye.